What is good? What is good, everybody? Appreciate everybody for waiting on me. Appreciate everybody that's coming in, coming over from Instagram as well, man. I am your host, Mikey T, the movie star. That's right, Mikey T, the movie star. You might have heard about me running around from hood to hood doing all the exclusive interviews from back in the day, but now I'm right in front of your face presenting the exclusive news to you. And we have a couple different stories that are a little bit crazy right now going on. So we got to address them. We got to talk about Meek Mill and we've got to talk about 50 Cent. We're talking about Roddy Ricch. We're going to be also talking about the ex G Unit member, one of the most infamous ex G Unit members, you guys. I'm not talking about the game. I'm not talking about Spider Loke. Not talking about MA$E. Tonight, we're talking about Young Buck, who just can't seem to get away from the controversy, you guys. Young Buck's name is always seemingly caught up in the spectacle. If you want to call it spotlight, you could call it that. I mean, when you're getting taken into custody or if you're getting into a fight in a supermarket, these type of publicity events are not what every artist really looks for out there. It's really not what you're looking for if you're a major artist. Major salute to Big Faxville in the building tonight. Everybody, when you tap in here, be sure to hit that like button and share this video. When I ask you to share the video, I'm talking about to all your social media platforms, you guys, all your various social media platforms. I want you to share it on Facebook. I want you to share it on Twitter. If you're on Instagram, obviously, put it in your story. Whatever you guys can do to support the channel is definitely appreciated. We got some hot topics going on in hip hop, so I really wanted to join everybody tonight and speak on them. Bridgeport, Connecticut is in the building. Major salute. Lights getting dim. Lights getting dim. Is it dark in here? Philly, major salute to Philly in the building. Philly is in the building tonight. We got some shit to talk about, huh, man? We got some shit to talk about. Meek Mill. Meek Mill had quite a bit to say, man. Meek Mill had quite a bit to say. We're going to go over it all. He went ballistic. I think Academic said he went ballistic. He went crazy on his Twitter page, you guys. Old Twitter fingers, as they used to call Meek, is back to it, exposing some shit from the music industry. You know what I'm saying? Meek Mill is actually exposing some shit from the music industry we didn't know. He's actually going in on what happened, what went wrong with his album Expensive Pain. Emilio Fury, appreciate you for tapping in, man. Steven Rivera is in the building. He said, hey, you, Mikey T, Slapface was a great movie. If anybody's wondering what Steven Rivera is talking about, Slapface actually dropped on Shudder today, February 3rd, a horror film directed by my brother Jeremiah Kipp. Everybody go stream that on Shudder. And if you sign up for Shudder right now, you can actually get a 7-day free trial. After that, you can get it for as low as $4.75. Schizo is in the building. What's popping, man? I appreciate you for tapping in, Schizo. It's always love when one of my moderators pops in. I know you be controlling shit that's going on in the chat room, man. So everybody put respect on Schizo's name. Major salute to him and all of you guys for really tapping in, man. Because we have some shit to cover tonight, man. We got to go over it, man. 50 Cent always seems to have a little fun at the expense of a foe. You know what I mean? When one of his foes is going through something, 50 Cent is going to be there to poke a little bit of fun at them. And we're seeing this play out time and time again with somebody like Young Buck, who just seems to get into one altercation after the next. I mean, what was the last thing that we had heard Young Buck going through? I think he had a firearm of some, like some sort of a shotgun, which is probably really typical in Tennessee, in the South or whatever. Mostly everybody probably goes to the shooting range or whatever. I'm not really too sure. I thought Nashville was about the music. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Buck had just got charged with some other bullshit. So it's like every 2 or 3 months, young Buck is popping back up in the news for either getting in a fight or uh getting into an altercation with his girlfriend or into an altercation with a former fan or, hiding money or, you know what I'm saying? Anything that's coming up. But we're going to go over it all today, man. So I encourage everybody to hit that like button and share this video. Virginia is in the house. Major salute to Virginia. I appreciate you guys tapping in from VA. Hulk Strong is in the building. Major salute to you. Lone Wolf TV is joining us tonight as well. I appreciate everybody tapping into the podcast tonight. I am your host, Mikey T, the movie star. We got some interesting topics to speak on. Meek Mill pretty much unleashed his fury. Over the last few weeks, we've been talking about the Expensive Pain album in comparison to some of his other projects, like Championships that dropped prior to that. Championships moving like 200,000 units in its first week in comparison to Expensive Pain's 80,000 units. We have a lot to talk about in regard to that because I've had a few questions that Meek Mill, or old Twitter fingers as they call him, cleared up today on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? And it's funny. It's funny because just last night I was looking at some numbers and I was seeing some numbers scroll from, stocks or whatever about Twitter. And I was like, man, nobody really messes with Twitter anymore. Some people do mess with Twitter, evidently. There's some things you can get out on Twitter easier than you can get them out on Instagram. You know what I mean? And even though we see a lot of people voice their opinions on the gram, you get a lot of shit on Twitter as well, you guys. And that's pretty evident. I mean, when you got the biggest, one of the biggest rappers in the game voicing his frustrations with what has been going on. I looked back to a little bit of the history of Meek Mill and Roddy Ricch. In the chat, do you guys know about the history of Meek Mill and Roddy Ricch? I sort of was looking at it like Meek Mill gave him a little bit of a boost. He sort of gave him a little bit of a boost, similar to 50 Cent in the game. But in Meek Mill's situation, Meek Mill didn't get paid out $1, according to him, according to these messages that these public posts that he's been doing on Twitter. Meek Mill hasn't got any sort of compensation for helping with Roddy Ricch's project, y'all. And that's where he's really taking issue to this situation. Dream Chasers has taken on a few artists. Not, a lot of people ask the question, okay, what is Dream Chasers going to do? They don't have an outlet for you to actually release the album. That's why Dream Chasers was sort of acting as a management base, I believe. Just from what I've seen, Meek Mill would take people under his wing and he would try to expose them to the world a little bit more. He did it with Tracy T to a certain degree. If it works out, it works out. But Meek Mill was giving his attempt with several different artists. It just so happened, in Meek Mill's words, or his tweets, I should say, he said Atlantic came to him with the Roddy Ricch project. We're going to get into all of it, man. Meek Mill was really detailed when going into this shit, you guys. And I got to say, a lot of people gave Meek flack the last time he was online doing the whole Twitter fingers thing. I give Meek Mill a lot of credit this time for explaining to us, the fans, a lot of what went wrong between him and Roddy with this project now. Him and Roddy are cool, he says, but also what went wrong with Expensive Pain, you guys. A project that it seems Meek says they would not consider an album. They'll get paid as if it was an album, but they won't consider it an album. We're going to have to go into all of it. Steven Rivera says Meek Mill is better than Roddy. Meek Mill is a little bit more seasoned, obviously. You know what I mean? He's been in the game quite a bit longer than Roddy. But we're going to have to wait on that one, man, because Roddy's got some records as well. Emilio Fury, appreciate you, man. the 99-cent sticker. You know, I appreciate everybody that sends in stickers to the chat, everybody that sends in a super chat. You are all massively appreciated, you guys. You know, I appreciate that shit 100%. I really do. And I appreciate everybody who takes the time to actually share this video with their friends, everybody that takes the time to share this video across their own social media platforms. I definitely appreciate everybody supporting the channel. And, you know, I like to stay in tune with everybody that follows me on the gram. You know what I'm saying? I follow everybody back. But also, if you just support the video, man, that's just major love. You know what I'm saying? That's just major love, in all honesty, man. Because that's why I do it, man. That's why I continuously do this podcast for people like you, Emilio Fury. I appreciate that 99-cent sticker. Super Bloody. Well, I mean, shit, hit that super chat. Biggest super chat gets the moderator position. Steven Rivera and Super Bloody. Talk that shit, MT. Car Bernard. Appreciate you for tapping in, man. Major salute to you. Capital third letter C. Salute. My guy's in the building. We've got some shit to talk about tonight. We've got an epic story to talk about tonight. I want everybody to share this video with all their friends that are into hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody to share this with all their family that's into hip hop. If you're an artist, I want you to share it with all of your supporters, man. I'm about to post it in my story right now. I got the link in my bio. You know what I'm saying? But I just appreciate. Where is Buck now, Steve Drive? Steve Drive getting a little bit ahead of us. My guy Steve is in the building. Major salute to you, bro. Hit that like button and share this video if you would. Just give me 1 second, guys. One second, guys. Just doing a little bit of last minute promotion on the gram. And I appreciate if everybody likes this video as well. Appreciate if everybody likes this video, shares this video, and basically just supports the channel in whatever manner you can. Let's get into it, man. Please share and subscribe and hit that like button. Kensington, stand up. Philly is in this bitch. Schizo, yes, we got some shit to talk about, and let's get it on. What's everybody smoking? Oh, Schizo's asking what you guys are smoking. Tonight I pulled out the Granddaddy Pluto, y'all. I pulled out the Granddaddy Pluto for the show. That's right. I pulled out the Granddaddy Pluto for today's show, man. My guy, George McCarthy, is on that grape gasoline tonight. Okay. All right. That sounds good, bro. Any type of gas. Any type of gas, really. I'm into that Cookies Grandiflori brand called E85 gas. Skywalker way better than Honey Buns. Steven has changed up his strand tonight. Apparently he's smoking on some Skywalker tonight. He's usually blazing on some Honey Bun, which is awesome. I've had that a couple different times from the store, the dispensary store. Let me get this shit twisted up right here, though, so we can get this show started. Oh, TS. My guy TS, Terror Squad. My dude Terror Squad in the building. Got that Moon Rock. Kirk, man. Kirk is smoking on that monster cookie. All right, I respect it. Man. Hell yeah. We got some people smoking tonight in this bitch, man. We got some people smoking good tonight, man. But I definitely appreciate everybody tapping into tonight's live video. Yes. Let's go. Philly got it. Philly got it this week. Great White Shark. Jason Voorhees smokes. Who would have thought Jason Voorhees smokes weed? I had no idea. My bad, man. Don't pop up behind me. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. We got Jason Voorhees in the room tonight. Salute Schizo. Steven Rivera putting some respect on his name. George McCarthy is telling me, yo, Mikey T, you have got to try that Harry Potter Kush, though. Mikey, y'all should have it up there. I have not heard of the Harry Potter Kush. Also, not really too sure if I would want to smoke the Harry Potter Kush. Thank you. Harry Potter Kush, man. They done thought of it all now, man. I'm on the I finished up 14 of the cake mix. I just finished that shit earlier today. So now, or actually just my last blunt actually of it. I got another 14 of that though, but I decided to switch it up and go with the Granddaddy Pluto. Hopefully this isn't too much of an indica that just puts me on my ass for the show though. You know what I'm saying? But y'all can pretty much use me as your test subject. You know, you could be like, damn, that Granddaddy Pluto kind of looked like it took Mikey T out of his element. So I don't think I'm really going to be smoking that one. However you guys want to look at it, man. If you want to look at me like as your guinea pig for all that, like, oh, Mikey T done smoked a little bit of too much of that. I'm going to go with a sativa. DePlug 500, I appreciate you for tapping in. And everybody just coming in, we are still on the intro of the show. We have a couple dope topics to talk about. Young Buck getting himself into a little bit of a mess. And of course, the G-Unit General is right there to not pick him up. He's there to laugh at him, of course. So we're going to get into that. 50 Cent clowning the ex-G-Unit member, Young Buck. But also this whole situation with Meek Mill, you know, Meek Mill really, like he went ballistic. He went bonkers. He went crazy. He went ape shit on his Twitter. And we're going to go over all of that tonight, man. We're going to go over all that tonight. We got a great episode for y'all. Be sure to share this video. Everybody be sure to share this video. Let everybody know Mikey T, the movie star, is on here spitting big facts and giving pretty much the best opinion in the game. And you get it for free right here on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You get it for free right here on YouTube every single night. Big Factsville in the building. Salute, hit that like button, share this video. Okay, everybody, run the likes up. Iceberg said it. That's the godfather of the chat right there. Iceberg, run them likes up. Rep your city, rep your strain. And we're still on the intro. Everybody roll up, get your drink. You guys see I'm on the small Red Bull tonight, so you know this Granddaddy Pluto certainly is going to put me on my ass. I only got the 12 ounce tonight, you guys. George, I wanted to get to this comment. Big Snoop Dogg. You always got to respect the word and the advice of Big Snoop Dogg. Snoop said indica is for the grown folks. Yeah, that's because the sativa, you know what I'm saying? The sativa is actually for them young wild dudes who want to be running the streets all night, who want to stay up all night, watching movies. Actually, I'm not really a young bull anymore, so I don't think they would really put that in there. Mr. Coppage, this grape gasoline up there with that, I was impressed. Couldn't really understand that comment, but all right. George says he loves his purples. I'm not so much of a purple guy, y'all, but when they had the Granddaddy Purple available, I wasn't gonna steer away from it, man. I bought it so many times in bud form. They had it in this form. I was like, I'm grabbing an O of that for sure. So I grabbed an O of the Granddaddy Purple. You know, I still got the Collins Ave. I don't know if I'm gonna break that out on the stream. Iceberg, salute. Big Factsville, it's all good, man. I appreciate you regardless, man. You don't have to send a super sticker. You can always just send a super chat. 32 Allegheny in here. OBH Doc, little bro, salute to you for tuning in, man. Major respect for you on the tap in, brother. You know, I appreciate it. The plug says, I'm from Philly, but I'm living in Vegas and we smoking on cookies. What batches did you get from cookies, though, man? I always go to the cookies store. Man, I love the cookie store, to be 100% honest with you. But there's some shit that we just have not got here from the cookie store, like London Cello. I don't think we got. We might have got London Cello real quick. We might have got London Cello real quick. I'm not really too sure. And I want to send a major congratulations out to my bro, SV Twiz. Major congratulations to SV Twiz. He's actually having a child today. Twiz is having another kid today, y'all. I'm about to see if we can get him to tap in on the stream. He told me he wanted to go live, so I know I'm not being foul by sending this to him. I'm gonna send it to him just to know that, let him know that we're thinking about him and shit. Twiz, one of the most powerful members of the group. Major salute, my guy, Super Bloody. He says, I rock with you because you can spot a fake. Damn, I appreciate that. Yo, guys, please don't send super chat. I mean, please don't send cash apps. Don't send no cash apps, you guys. They're changing the rules on that shit, and I don't really want to play their games. George McCarthy says, George McCarthy says, Girl Scout cookies is a great strain too. Yo, but please don't use the Cash App. Don't use that shit. The era of Cash App is over, you guys. Hold on one second. You like the runts? Hell yeah, man. Who doesn't like the runts? The white runts was the best one to me, though. Hell yeah, bro. I love runts, but like I said, the white runts is the best. Yep, my dude right there said he's at the cookie store. DePlug, I'm still waiting to hear what you're actually blazing, bro. Father of three, it's a beautiful thing, man. Hell yeah, bro. Congratulations to you, George. That sounds awesome, bro. Big facts, said my boy Twiz. Big facts, I appreciate that, bro. But try not to do that because I don't really like to accept cash apps anymore, man. That's not the stream that I be on. But you know what I'm saying? I'm waiting from that big check. I'm waiting for that big check from that big. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When I get that big check, they're gonna call me Big Check Mikey T. No, that was the lady that didn't work earlier. Give me 1 second. You got Mikey T. I got it like that. I got it like that. You know what I'm saying? Second. Just give me 1 second, you guys. I appreciate everybody tapping in tonight. We got SV Twiz tapping in just a moment. He's got a major announcement he wants to share with everybody. I know he told me a little bit earlier he wanted to go live, and you know I know he would like to talk to everybody in here tonight. Living Life says, where in CT are you? Well, I'm actually at the border of Rhode Island, which is pretty perfect because I'm an hour away from New Haven and I'm about 40 minutes away from Providence. And then I'm about 90 minutes away from Boston, 2.5 hours away from New York. So it puts me at a good advantage if I really need to go to any shows. Like 5 hours from Philly, 3.5 hours from New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a pretty good position, you guys. Like 8 hours from from DC. If I really needed to go out there and do any work, only like 5-6 hours from Maryland. I'm in a pretty good position in Connecticut. I'm not gonna lie. Mr. Carter versus the Carter. Thank you, Big Facts. I appreciate that, man. Purple Truffle has chocolate in it. Harlem's in the building. Harlem's in the building, baby. I love going out to Harlem, man. I love really all the boroughs, man. I'm not gonna lie. I've had great times in all the boroughs. I've had good times upstate New York, from Buffalo to Niagara Falls. What's the other joint right there? Hudson, New York. Right. I went up. That was one of those first spots that I really ever went up to, man. But yo, guys, I know everybody's tapping in because we got to talk about this news, y'all. Young Buck got arrested again. Oops, Young Buck did it again. You know what I'm saying? He messed up his part. He got lost in the game. Oh, Young Buck, what are you thinking, man? Young Buck, who at one point was said to be in the Matrix. Who was it? In the chat, hip hop trivia, what former G Unit member said that Young Buck was in the Matrix? I'm going to light up and I'm going to let y'all answer it. What former G Unit member in an interview said that Young Buck was in the Matrix? You know what? Just like Britney Spears. Britney Spears, Young Buck ain't that innocent. You know how Britney Spears, I think she says at the end of the song, I'm not that innocent. Young Buck's not that innocent. I used to love Young Buck. You know what I mean? I used to love Young Buck. I saw Young Buck since he really just kicked in the doors. Literally. BET, Rap City. Don't you guys remember that? Buck came in, did the freestyle, looked nappy as hell, looked like he just was broke. You know what I'm saying? I was right there in the dirt with Young Buck. For this shit to be happening, I mean, I'm not even talking about all the iffy shit about Buck. I'm talking about this man running up on some girl's whip on a video camera. Young Buck is destroying property allegedly on a video camera. When's that footage going to drop? You got to know that footage is going to drop. 50 might even grab it. 50 might even put it out. So it's like, damn, it's like this guy who you would have thought was the most gangsta, intelligent dude. In 2022, he's running up on somebody's crib, destroying property that they own, destroying somebody else's property. Because, you know, in 50's case, when he had destroyed some property, he probably owned that shit. You know what I'm saying? He probably owned that shit. So he went to court and he was like, yeah, I destroyed the TV. I own the TV. Young Buck doesn't own this shit. You know what I mean? And if he does, 50 wants to take over whatever payments are going towards it. I'm sure of that. Because whether it's $20,000, $25,000 or a bigger sum like $250,000 or $150,000, you know, 50 wants in on it. Nobody's hating on you, brother. Nobody's blocking any of your comments. I see all your comments. Buck got bucked. Well, Buck said buck the world. You know, Buck had a really successful album, straight out of Cashville. He had a majorly successful album, you guys, and then he decided to say buck the world. You know, when you've got all that fame, you don't say F the world. You know what I mean? At that point, you embrace the world. Young Buck was getting features from Snoop Dogg and Young Jeezy and Trick Daddy and every single legend in the game, and new artists, because Young Jeezy was then extremely popular. Remember they had a song, what was it called, you guys? Money Talks. It was called Money Talks. I believe it was called Money Talks, right? So they had a record together. Buck was really working with anybody and everybody. Hell, he worked with Chester from Linkin Park. Rest in peace. The man, I've said it a dozen times here on the channel. Young Buck brought G Unit together with Linkin Park. First time that happened since the Jay-Z and Linkin Park fusion. Yo, what's popping with you, man? George McCarthy. What's popping, my guy? Ja. What's popping with you, G's? Steven Rivera says, I don't think Young Buck could afford lawyer fees. Young Buck shouldn't have done this. You know, from what I'm reading on Media Takeout and a bunch of other websites, and I appreciate everybody that shares this video and hits that like button that's in here. Young Buck screwed himself. Young Buck screwed Young Buck. Buck went to somebody's property and, did a bunch of shit on video camera. Buck did this to himself, man. I mean, what can you expect? And then he was promptly arrested. I'm going to get into the whole thing. We're not there yet, you guys. We're not there yet. Oh, yeah, the plug. It's called the soap, and it's sativa. Yeah, the soap is a really good cookie strand, man. It has a really, really interesting taste to it. If anybody tries the soap from Cookies, major shout out to Burner as well. I hope Burner's doing good with everything that he's going through right now. It seems like he's enjoying life. I had just seen him post a picture out to dinner with his daughters. It seems like he's really living and enjoying life. So major shout out to Burner. But yeah, the soap is an amazing strand from Cookies. My boy Cody, we call him Cody Banks. You know what I'm saying? He actually put me onto it. He's like, yo, you got to mess with this one, man. But I was like, yo, I don't really like the taste of it so much, but I've copped it a few more times. And because of its taste, because of its actual taste, it's very, very cool to pick out sometimes because it's got a taste that throws you off, unlike any of the other strands. Everybody share this video. Let's get 100 people in here. Come on, let them know that the most viral blogger is doing it right now. Will the cannabis market fall? Will the cannabis market fall? Or will it rise? That is the question. Yo, man, it's obviously going to rise. I see marijuana actually going down in price drastically. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I see it going down in price drastically. Yo, extended play. Mikey T, what's good, fam? Chicago and LA is in this bitch. Chicago, LA, two amazing cities, man. Two amazing cities. The prices need to. Oh, yeah, the prices are going to in the next 5 years. There's going to be so much more. Appreciate you, Super Bloody, for sharing the video. Appreciate everybody who likes the video, shares the video. Also, drop a comment. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all. King Broomer says, I need them good prices and the best gas. It's going to happen in the next few years, you guys, without a doubt. So many other places are going to be opening up. The competition is going to be so drastic that all of these, dispensaries are going to have no choice but to lower the price. I look forward to that day. I mean, I think the price is pretty low in California, but for instance, I got this pre-ground right here for $72 a half ounce. So realistically, that's not that bad. That's pretty much better than any of my dudes could give me a half O of bud for. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. But there's a lot of people out there who are like, well, why would you pay $72 for a half ounce of pre-ground bud when you can just buy a half ounce of straight up buds for $120 from your guy? So you got both sides of the coin, you guys. I'm interested in knowing what you all think about that. Would you go with the pre-ground for $72 or would you go with the buds for $120 and just pay the extra $50? Charlotte, North Carolina. Hell yeah, man. Because I've paid $350, $430 for the O of purple, Granddaddy Pluto, but I've also paid $144 for the O. Keeping my faith. I appreciate you for tapping in. Major salute to you. Abya, what's up? What's up? Appreciate you for tapping in tonight. King says in Charlotte, they give us that low-grade Cali bud for the low-grade Cali bud, but it smokes good, but I want Cali's best. Zip costs 400 to 500 here. Yeah, easily. Zips easily cost 4 to 500. An eighth here is 30 to 60 bucks depending. Yeah, man. If you want that, if you go to a certain place, mostly it's always $55 an eighth at the dispensaries, from what I see. Yes, sir. I am smoking on some Granddaddy Pluto. We are about to get into the show, though, you guys. Couple topics. You know, 50 Cent and Meek Mill are two people who really dominate on the internet. You know what I'm saying? When Meek Mill when Meek Mill isn't getting forced off the internet to stop his thoughts and 50 Cent stops the clowning, you know what I mean? The internet kind of becomes a little bit more duller of a place. It's a little bit dull when 50 and Meek ain't around. Just keeping it real. But when 50 pops back up with his little comments or his memes, 50 making light of situations. I mean, anybody could clown 50 Cent. This video could be vice versa. This video could be totally different with somebody clowning 50 Cent for signing Young Buck. You could clown 50 Cent for signing Young Buck, who has gone through every terrible scenario that you could imagine. He's hit every bump on the way down, rolling on that hill, that anybody could make blogs all day just making fun of 50 Cent for the fact that his Southern artist has been exposed on a number of occasions. But what does 50 do, you guys? 50 beats you to the punch. 50 Cent beats you to the punch, you guys. He beats everybody to the punch. He's making fun of his own artist. Back in the day, I asked myself, why would 50 do this to Young Buck? Why would 50 Cent put out this conversation with Young Buck? He pretty much ruined any value to Buck's name at that point. Young Buck had a value to the music industry. Like, he really was one of the most popping artists from the South at one point. He almost was getting measured up with Lil Wayne. If you guys don't remember, Young Buck called out Lil Wayne on Rap City. Although Wayne eventually started feuding with 50 Cent a bit, Lil Wayne went up a notch. Share this video, everybody. Let's get 100 people in here. Let them know. If you don't know who I am, I'm Mikey T, the movie star. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I hope you do. Just hit that button, subscribe if you want to see the best interviews. I'm talking about interviews with key people in the music industry. If you want that, you come here. I've interviewed the best of the best. I've interviewed Young Dolph. I've interviewed Yo Gotti. I've interviewed French Montana, Max B, Rick Ross, Lil Wayne. I've interviewed the who's who of hip hop, and now I'm here presenting the news to you guys, man. Kenny White says, I'm waiting for 50 to clown someone from Power. Well, why would he do that, man? You know what I'm saying? The Power shows, 50 Cent's television networks, his television entities are his most powerful, his most powerful platforms right now. Like Banks and Yayo and Buck were back in the day. These were his most powerful money-making opportunities. So I thought to myself, why would he clown Young Buck and put out that whole conversation, pretty much ruining any shred of credibility Young Buck had at that point? King Bromer says, he would never. Power makes too much money. Let me bring in my co-host. Rosewood is in the building.
Mikey T, what up, my guy? How you?
Well, Rosewood, it's great that you pop in right now, man. Kenny White was just saying, I'm waiting for 50 to clown someone from Power, but King Brahmer says he would never. Power makes too much money. Now, I was saying
Fat.
back in the day when 50 Cent was heavily into music, two of his big money-making schemes were Young Buck and Lloyd Banks.
Yeah, but Power, that's his pet project. So I don't think he would ever, clown that. Everything else is off limits. But when it comes to that, I don't think he would be doing that. He don't get any clout off that.
Yeah, I mean, he has poked fun here and there at the guys, but he's not going to do anything like what happened with Young Buck when he released that tape of Buck crying on the phone.
No, and I think it's just for one, it's two different industries. This is the media slash you want to say like movie industry or whatever, TV industry, and that's the music. So I don't think he's going to treat the actors the way he's going to treat Young Buck, because Young Buck's a rapper at the end of the day. It's more ego and pride in the industry, rap industry.
Well, Rosewood, I don't think any of those actors would really put themselves in the position with 50 that Young Buck did.
Right. That too. They're not even going. That's what I'm saying. They're not that ego driven, and it's not that much going on. They got the contract, they go to work. That's it, for real, for real. When it comes to music, though, it's a lot of drama with that. Behind the scenes stuff and all that.
A lot of
50.
brotherhood.
Yeah, definitely that. You got camaraderie and brotherhood. With the with TV too. With
Right.
acting. But it's definitely different when it comes to the music.
Rosewood, I'm getting a little bit of static. Is it because of your earphones?
Yeah, let me see real quick. Hold
on. Everybody is excited to have Rosewood in the building tonight, though. Let me take a sip of my drink.
You should be good.
Rosewood, what is good, my G?
Stephen Bear was good. Jay was good. Up in the studio.
Young Buck has gotten himself caught up once again. Man. He actually vandalized a whip. In front of this girl's house, ex-girlfriend's house. But the thing is, the man was on camera.
I mean, anything to get the attention and get your name out there, I guess, at the end of the day, because it's going, put itself in the media and stuff like that. But, anything to get your name in the media, that's what I say. How I go, man.
So I guess this happened on Wednesday morning. He texted his girl that he was going to come over, and then he showed up and he started to kick the front door because she wouldn't answer. And like, she had cameras at the house. I would assume that he would know that she had cameras there. I mean, being who he is, he's got to be thinking every day, I don't want to get caught on camera doing something crazy, Rosewood.
Nah, because at the end of the day, he going to be like, I'm Young Buck. I'm kind of untouchable where I am. The authorities know me and all that, so he don't really care about that. And if it makes it to TMZ, then he'll be happy for real, for real.
Yo, Manny Man, what's up, Manny Man?
That's crazy, man. So
what's up, Manny Man? What you got, bro?
So the incident was caught on security cameras, Rosewood. Do you think 50 Cent has commented on this issue, but do you think there's any way 50 is going to get a hold of that surveillance footage, maybe even contacting the ex-girlfriend to get a hold of it? Or do you think he's learned his lesson with what happened with the game?
I mean, with 50 is like beating a dead horse with the Young Buck thing. Like, it's funny because I could see 50 doing something like that. Now, if this was years ago, probably like 5 years ago, 50 was definitely getting that tape. He's definitely getting that footage, putting it out there, clowning. I think 50 got too much going on right now. It's too much important. 50's more mature than he was then. So, he got too much going on. He got some real important things going on, especially with the BMF series. That coming out, putting music out for that. So I don't think he really has time, to be clowning Young Buck right now. I don't think he got the time.
Aside from a simple post on Instagram, though, right? I mean,
that's regular, but I don't think he really gonna waste his breath on it. It's just too much important things he got going on. I'm waiting to see what the music is gonna come from the BMF. Are we gonna get like a compilation of artists for a BMF project, something like that? I'm waiting to see what the music coming with 50.
Well, Rosewood, another thing that I sort of brought up is that the narrative could be flipped. The bloggers could be dissing 50 Cent every time something that his former artist did pops up. You know what I mean? Every time a new allegation pops up on Young Buck, the bloggers could be making a blog about how this is an L on 50 Cent. You know, like, yo, look at your former artist, man. He's looking real bad out here. So that's why I think maybe 50 beats people to the punch with it.
Well, with Young Buck, everybody know he ousted Young Buck from the group and he separated from Young Buck. So I don't think they would look at it. Nobody looks at it like that with Young Buck.
Years ago, he ousted him on the radio, but then he signed him back.
Right. He was trying to help Young Buck out, and that fell through. But I don't think anybody looks at it like, oh well, Young Buck fucking up, so that looks bad on 50. 50 is light years ahead of Buck and Banks, Yayo. It's even I can't even say, even if they was like, say they were in the doing acting now or something like that, but they ain't really doing nothing. Banks is put out some music lately. Yeah, doing the shows like that, but 50 is light years ahead of people right now. So he got so much more, I best believe, planned in the future. So like I said, we waiting for the music for real. Let's see what the music gonna be hitting for. Like Young Buck antics. Now I would see Young Buck trying to do some antics, then dropping some banging music, and he putting it on one of the series or something like that or whatever. If he could transition this into, something beneficial to him.
You think a hit record would make all this go away for Young Buck?
I wouldn't say make it go away, but he can reinvent himself.
Let me see. The Plug 500 says, yeah, I think about it. Young Buck created his own problems, though. His own money issues, his own situations. Like, this is all his fault. And he's trying to blame 50. And, I was saying, so Young Buck goes and he kicks this woman's door. He does something to her car. He doesn't own that property. I was sort of comparing it to 50. When 50 went and kicked the door, slammed the TV, he owned that property.
And I was about to say 50 can cover the insurance on it. Put it like that. Young Buck don't got time to be doing none of the shenanigans right now, for real. That's why I can only think of if it's going to translate into him getting views or him promoting music, something like that. Because other than that, they're stupid.
So the officers apparently, they pulled Buck over because they saw the vehicle he was driving. They arrested him. He was in the driver's seat. Buck was booked into the Nashville jail just before 6:45 a.m. in the morning, Rosewood. What do you make of this shit taking place so early in the morning?
Oh man, he must have been on. He got a domestic all early in the morning. Like nobody, he gotta feel bad because if I'm Young Buck, I'm thinking like, dang, I had all this success and I'm back in the Nashville jail. Like, no, I ain't supposed to be here. So that's stupid. He got caught up in a domestic. He all in his feelings.
Yep. Yeah, but he was actually released just before 10 o'clock in the morning. So he was really only
that's about right. Yeah, that's about right. I know a couple of people that got locked up on domestics, had to go up to the district for nonsense. But the thing is, though, right now, this way, you get people get caught up at, and nobody talk about it, especially on the domestics. This for anybody. Like when the cops come, some people try to run and all that. Then you get more charges. Like when the cops come and you start doing extra stuff, like try to run or like just evading police now. Like it's not worth it even going there. So you can get way more. Look, he's lucky for real, because he could have got way more charges. I don't know how the cops play in Nashville, but I'm pretty sure they don't play. And he could have got some crazy charges with that.
Well, this is his second domestic charge from one back in 2020. Do you think that's going to play a factor in this second?
When he probably if he go to court for it, something like that. If he goes to court, maybe. Now if this was like his third one or whatever, they'll definitely probably be on his top because they're like, oh, you got 3 domestics. You know, so they'll probably push that issue when he get to court or something like that.
So, man, maybe I should have I wrote ex G Unit member in the headline, but 50 Cent is now referring to Buck as the B Unit. Not G Unit anymore, Rosewood. It's the B Unit. So before we get into 50's response, I just want to ask you in general, what do you make of 50? Every time, like I have my theories, but every time Buck goes through a publicly embarrassing moment, what do you make of 50 taking 10 minutes of his day to make light of it?
I mean, listen, that's 50. I always look at it like if you was rocking with 50, if you was in the squad and his rank is anything like that, you're going to go back and forth. You're going to joke with one another, whether we together or we not. That's all it is, man. Like, we busting on each other, whether we rock with each other or not. That's all it go. Because best believe if he was still down with G Unit, he was going through these things, 50 would still be clowning. Whether it be out in the public or just them, 50 would still be doing this.
What's up? Everybody shoot Rosewood a follow. So 50 Cent actually took to his Instagram. He said, Buck, B Unit, bisexual unit.
Oh,
leave that girl alone. She didn't know he had all this shit going on. None of us did.
That is true.
And he best be coming up with my money.
50 back on the money 50, man. It's good promotion for him. You know how he do. He gonna hype it up.
I love how he had to add it in there. Like, she didn't know he had all this shit going on. None of us did. Because
He right. Nobody knew.
Talking about it, man. Like, I saw Buck when he performed with G Unit on BET Rap City, right? He came in the first time. He was looking all like fresh out the streets. He was like kicking the door, waving the 4-4. He took that lyric and shit. Do you remember?
I remember that.
What was your first memory of Buck, Rosewood?
Damn, my first memory of Young Buck. It had to have been one of the G Unit mixtape. It had to be. Because I remember hearing Young Buck, but the first time seeing him was Rap City. That's the first time seeing Young Buck was Rap City. Because back then, you got to remember, there's no internet. So we don't really know what Young Buck looks like. We know what his voice is or whatever. Like, we barely knew what Tony Yayo and Lloyd Banks looked like. We only knew because of the CD covers. That's the only way we knew. So Young Buck is new. We heard his voice, but the first time I actually seen him was on Rap City. That's why when you said that, I throw it back like, yo, that was classic because that was like all them together and we seen the potential. We like, oh, 50 really put it. It was amazing. We like, oh, 50 really put it together. Not that he just dropped his project was what was crazy, but he bringing new talent and they're good too. So it was something we ain't really see like that. We seen like Dipset and stuff, but 50 bringing it like happening like overnight with it was like crazy. So Rap City was the first time I'll say I seen Young Buck. That's the first time. First time I heard him was on one of the G Unit mixtapes.
Yep, and it was a little bit crazy to see, like a Southern guy on the G Unit album.
It was.
After hearing Tony Yayo with them for the tapes and shit. But Buck was just so good, Rosewood. And that Beg for Mercy album was just classic, in my opinion, when it comes to group albums, that you just couldn't help but be interested in Young Buck.
Facts. That right there, the whole platform, 50 basically, 50, Dr. Dre, Eminem, they really put the platform, the blueprint down for all of them to blossom, And it was unfortunate they had have turmoil and the group break up for real, because it should have been way more albums and bangers from them. And even when they went cold to reinvent themselves and come back like around now, we should still be getting the G Unit classics, but we're not going to get that. It's just unfortunate, but he fit perfect in there. Like you said, we didn't hear nobody from down south stepping into basically like the New York role with like West Coast sounds, because basically you got G Unit, which is New York, and then you had the production of Dr. Dre, which is the West Coast. Now Eminem did a lot of production, but I'll say he's highly influenced by Dre. So you get a lot of West Coast mixed with the East Coast, and you bring Young Buck in. It was like a perfect triangle.
Yeah, Eminem had produced for Young Buck on his second album. So that was 2007 when Eminem's production, I think, really started to take form. Might have been a little bit sooner than that.
Yeah, but it's about
he was in 2005. Eminem produced for Tony Yayo and Obi Trice on the Drama Setter record. So that's 2 years before that. Yep.
Yeah, but that's when he really started heating up with the production though. You know, he really started contributing to, 50, whether it be 50, whether it be like you said, Obi Trice, whether it be D12, he was contributing production work. Definitely Young Buck, definitely Young Buck. M was definitely, having production, even on his own albums. He was getting his own type of sound.
But right here, he said none of us did. She didn't know he had all this shit going on. None of us did. 50 speaking for himself and obviously speaking for all of us, the fans. You know what I mean? Buck's right now career is coming with a whole lot of baggage, Rosewood. He's coming with a lot of baggage right now, bro.
Yeah, it just seemed like the person in comments said, like, yo, Buck be doing this stuff to himself, man. Because it really started with the whole taxes thing. Him not paying the taxes and then everything that started spiraling downhill. Because I don't see why it was a reason. But if 50 was willing to sign him back or bring him back into the fold, I don't see why that wouldn't work. So I'm looking, it had to be something that he brought on for it not to work.
Yeah, and on that note, he said what he said, but then he ended it with the typical, and he best be coming up with my money because of all the allegations of the money. But what do you make of that signing, man? So he brings him back for the G Unit album, Rosewood, but not only the G Unit album, he signs him for a solo album as well. Why do that? Just to keep him contractually, under you.
Obligated. Now, the thing is, well, we can only speculate with the contract issue because only them two and the lawyers know what's in the contract. So if he's still obligated on his contract to 50 Cent or whatever, then you have to fulfill that. And 50 Cent, I look at it like this. He's only looking at the industry and doing the same thing the industry would do. He's looking at it like if it was anybody, if you was down with Puffy or anybody else, they'll be worse than me. Because he always looks at it like when he was trying to sign Mace and Puffy wouldn't sign off on Mace. And he's like, well, look, I want the money for airfare, hotel fees, and all that from Puffy. Because he's still in the contract with you. That means you got to pay. So we don't know what's in Buck contract, what he signed for, what amount of money, or none of that. Now 50 Cent, him that's saying what he gonna say, it's still truth in that because you signed that contract. At the end of the day, you have to fulfill your obligations to the contract, or they have to let you go. So 50 was like, all right, you don't want to go. All right, we're gonna come back on. We're gonna sign you. So that's why I said I don't know what was the reasoning for him not signing the 50 or for it not falling through. Because if you already signed to them and you're already obligated to drop albums on there, say you only got to drop one album or whatever like that, and you're done. Let's do it. So I don't know what the problem was with that. Yeah, it gotta be. It gotta be something like that.
But Rosewood, what do you make of a guy who, he lends him money to pay his taxes? He doesn't get that money back, but then he signs another deal with him, giving the guy more money. What do you make of that businessman who, lends somebody money he never got back, but then puts more money into the project? Is it a typical thing in your mind?
Well, the thing is, you still owe that back money, And then the thing is, they're going to put money into you so that project can, sell, and then they can recoup the back money and try to recoup the money they gave you. They're trying to basically have your record sell or have you sell so much that they can recoup the money that at least half of the money they put out for you. They're just trying to recoup money back. So it's going to take money. You still have to put money into the project for it to sell.
But so just to wrap up this whole Young Buck thing, man, in relation to other shit that Young Buck has been involved with, you would say this is a small blip on the radar?
Yeah. This is definitely a small blip. The way he already been through, all the drama he already been through. Yeah, definitely. This light work right here. Like I said, if it gets to TMZ, he'll be happy.
I mean,
he'll be happy.
It's got to suck going to court, regardless. I mean,
that's what it sucks being in that jail, and you Young Buck, and you in the Nashville jail.
Somebody in there would probably be like, "Yo, who are you?" He would tell them that he's Young Buck, and they would be like, "No, you're not Young Buck."
No, they know who he is.
Oh, they do.
They know who he is. They, down there, he probably definitely a legend, down there. So in the jail, they probably fucking with him and shit. But like I'm Young Buck. You shouldn't be in there. I used to have a spinning chain.
Right.
You shouldn't be in there. Come on, man.
You said you niggas in trouble.
I asked the question earlier. Which former G Unit artist said that Young Buck was in the Matrix?
He probably Yayo.
No, it was somewhat of an outsider. It was Maserati Fox, who never really got to experience that classic lifestyle that was G Unit. The overseas tours, all the fancy hotels, the buses. Maserati Fox in an interview said that Young Buck was so far in, he can't believe he messed it up. He was in the Matrix.
Facts. Facts. I believe on that one because he was in. Like, how did you mess that? How you mess that opportunity up? I don't know how, man. How you mess that up?
Young Buck was supposed to be the next face of G Unit after 50.
G Unit South. Facts.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be G Unit South. Definitely supposed to be the next face after 50 because the South was the next move.
50 really wanted to give them all branches, man. G Unit South with Buck, G Unit West with the Game, and then I guess Buck and Banks and Yale would have just fell under the regular G Unit or something.
Yeah. Yep. And then you branch out from there. It would have been amazing if that happened. But 50 and Game falling out, and then 50 and Buck falling out. Yep.
Well, I'm glad you're here, Rosewood, because your boy,
thank you.
Philly's own Meek Mill, has been going back at it. Twitter fingers, as they call him, is going back at it, man. But I'll tell you, man, he's saying some insightful shit. He's not just going off at the mouth. He's actually saying some insightful shit about record labels. A whole thing is going on with Roddy Ricch, that he's kind of breaking down. He's also speaking on the Expensive Pain album. As you know, we spoke on that album, selling considerably less than Championship.
But we spoke on this. Shout out to Meek, man.
Well, Meek Mill cleared a lot of it up. He cleared a lot of it up as to why it's been happening, man. So Meek Mill has been dealing with Roddy Ricch. A lot of y'all know Meek and Roddy Ricch have had several songs, and they've had videos together and shit. So Meek went off. Meek went off on Twitter. Meek said, "So look, I made Atlantic Records hundreds of millions and let them take me out." He said some shit I don't want to say, but and then they let them take me out of Roddy Ricch as an artist. They came to me about it. Hold on, let me get this framed right.
Because this definitely it's crazy because I didn't I didn't listen to what he said, so this is the first time I'm hearing what he actually said.
This is what he actually wrote. This is actually what he wrote on Twitter. It's all over his
Okay.
Twitter right now, so Twitter's surging.
Mm-hmm.
Meek said, "So look, I made Atlantic Records hundreds of millions, and they take me out of the Roddy Ricch as an artist, and they came up to me with Roddy Ricch as an artist in jail." So he said that Atlantic Records came to him about Roddy Ricch as an artist when he was in jail. They still saying that I can't drop music until 9 months after my last album got blackballed. I just rapped buildings and Nina art with talent. Damn, did I copy that wrong or something? But he said, Roddy is my youngin' still, but the label separated us instantly when the millions came in from him. Same thing they tried to do with me and Rose. It takes a long time to catch up because most of them tied in for the love of some money. Artists scared to speak up. So Meek is saying that the label basically separated them after they were able to make money together, or after Roddy Ricch was able to take off and make millions.
All right. Well, when he says separate, at the same time, Roddy Ricch is his own artist. So Roddy Ricch has to play a factor in that separation.
Well,
It's just not Atlantic.
Yeah, so it looks like, Atlantic comes to Meek Mill. Similar, I'm kind of comparing this situation to the way that Dr. Dre came to 50 Cent about the game, Rosewood. So they come to Meek Mill. They're like, we need to get this guy hot. We need to get him popping. So Meek Mill started being around Roddy Ricch, doing videos with him, embracing him. Meek Mill, Dream Chasers, has done more than just try to be a record label. They've also managed talent, like he tried to get Tracy T on the map. I don't know if you remember that. He put Tracy T under his wing. You've got to know a couple more. He's actually tried to put people under his wing as management as well.
Which is true, but under the wing and signing paperwork is two different things. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to put whatever you're doing on the paperwork so you can get yours on the back end and always get yours. That's just how the business goes. And, it's crazy because I don't know if Meek is just being naive, but he know how the industry works. When he signed this deal, people were getting jerked. We know about the stories of everybody getting jerked, and you should look at the fine lines in your contract and had a lawyer look it over. Now, when you're getting other artists or they're telling you like, oh, we have this artist that we want you to get hot, now you have to state what your claims are. All right, I want this in return. I want this on the back end. I want points. You got to state what you want. You got to, go negotiate with the label. It's not saying that the label's going to give you that, but you can at least say, this is what I want. Or you can state your demands and say, listen, I'm going to help y'all out or whatever, but y'all got to help me out a whole lot.
Right.
So like now when you want these albums to drop, you got the leverage. So you shouldn't be saying, oh, my albums can't drop and I just drop. No, you got the leverage because I done did this for y'all already, and it's in writing, though. So you can have it under the wing or you can have it in writing.
Yeah, and like a tour. If Roddy Ricch blows up, we got to immediately do the Meek Mill and Roddy Ricch tour. But also, we just got through a pandemic, Rosewood. So there could have been a couple different things separating them. You know what I mean? So Meek said Meek got into the Expensive Pain album a little bit, that we know it sold like 85,000 units first week in comparison to Championships doing 200,000. Meek said they didn't put nothing into Expensive Pain and then said, I can't drop another project for 9 months at the end of my contract after I made them hundreds of millions. How would and can anybody survive that? Most rappers can't speak because they depend on these companies. I don't. If I didn't have millions, I'd probably say something crazy, he said, Rosewood.
Now because Meek is right. There's a lot of artists that really can't say that or whatever because
Rosewood, He's talking about another album after 9 months. He should not be. Maybe he should take a little bit more time in releasing his album. Maybe he needs that 9-month period. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look what just happened with NBA YoungBoy. He put out an album in September of 2021 that did 137,000 units first week, and then he came back with an album in January of 2022, and he sold 69,000 first week. You need a little bit of a gap.
Right. Now, definitely, now I want to say Meek needs the, longer, because I think if he has an album that's hot and it can come out, then he can drop it. The fans are going to receive it well if it's hot. If it's good music, people are going to receive it well and it's going to sell. So I don't think Meek needs the time, but when it comes to the label, they dictate when your stuff comes out. So, you can have a single that you think is hot. If they don't think it's hot, it's not going on that album, or it's not going to be the single off that album, no matter what you say. And that's always been the case. This is nothing new. Lil Uzi was just saying this about drama now, with his music. Is at the end of the day, the label owns your intellectual property. They say what goes out and when it goes out.
Now, with this next statement, I think Meek Mill, and you can tell me what you think, Rosewood, but I think Meek Mill is including himself in this statement because of what happened. He said they outsmarting young black kids, taking advantage and calling it business.
Always been like that.
Other artists speak up and tell the truth while you winning and when you down. While you winning, not when you down. Because I don't think he's talking about I don't think he's talking about Roddy Ricch in that situation. I think he's talking about himself. He got finessed because, like you're saying, maybe he thought the handshake, maybe he thought the giving the appeal to Roddy Ricch, making Roddy Ricch blow up. I thought I seemed to remember Roddy Ricch saying he officially messed with Dream Chasers. Maybe I'm mistaken. But
no, I think I remember that too. I think I remember Roddy Ricch definitely saying that. He messed with Dream Chasers.
This is where it really gets crazy, though, Rosewood. Meek said, I had to think. Roddy didn't come to me. He was on his grind. They bought him to me and cut me out as soon as the money came. The label should have paid me, not Roddy. Then they fed him like I was trying to lock him in. I was trying to help and eat, ain't get $1 from the label. And like you said, Rosewood, he should have had something in paper, whether it's going to be something that is a failure or a success. Meek Mill still wasted invaluable, invaluable time on this project with Roddy Ricch because he put his image on the line, Rosewood.
Now the thing is, and when I say on paper, that means having a Dream Chaser stamp on everything that Roddy Ricch does. Like there should be always a Dream Chaser stamp on everything he does. So at the same time, if you do the business right, you're not asking for it to come out of Roddy Ricch pockets because you make the label pay out from the rip because your name's already stamped on that. So yes, Meek is right. There's a lot of truth in what Meek is saying. The label's definitely finesse, but that's why you have to go with the mind state that I'm taking what's best for me. Yes, I'm broke right now, but I'm reading this whole contract and I want to know what I got to pay on the back end and how long am I locked into this contract? Because, like I said, we all know the label stories of people getting jerked. Everybody's contract. Like I said, only Fat Joe was getting $7 off an album, from the 90s to the 2000s. So, people getting 50 cents. TLC was getting a penny. Babyface was getting them 1 penny. So they's getting 3 cents off of every album. So you go platinum, you really see nothing. So we know these stories. So it's like when it's your time to sign that contract, have your lawyer. You can get an industry lawyer basically on pro bono work saying, listen, I'm about to get a deal and I need you to look over the contract. If I sign over the deal, I'll give you this percentage for representing me. Something like that. So everything that's going on. You can make a calculated decision. That's for real. Because yes, it's a scheme. It's a scheme. It's a glorified loan. When they give you a record deal, it's a glorified loan. That's all it is. You have to pay that loan back. And there's other obligations in that loan, like say dropping albums or projects, whatever it is that you owe them. So not only do you owe them the money, you owe them the projects and other stuff. So that's why it's a tricky business. And yes, say people are getting better deals now because of the internet blowing up in the way it is and where you can sell more digital, not physical. Meek signed at the end of the physical era. Meek was grinding when there was still CDs out. So now it's a different world. Yes, he should definitely try to renegotiate. But Atlantic is saying that he has to renegotiate with Ross. Atlantic is saying, listen, you signed to Rick Ross. Rick Ross has a partnership with us. Yeah, we cool with you, but we really don't have to do anything with you. We're your boss's boss. So your boss, we're the boss of your boss. So your boss can say whatever, but we say what goes because we write his checks. That's the thing.
They getting started over there, Rosewood?
About to get.
Hold on 1 second. Rosewood, I appreciate you for tapping in. If you got to get going in the studio, I already know what. Twiz!
Mikey T, my bro, Honorable Earth. What's up, bros?
You already.
Much love, man. Let me know if I'm breaking up because I know it get tricky in these hospitals with the reception.
Yeah. Super crazy.
Yo, Real King, appreciate you. Yo,
King.
Rosewood, if you got to get to the studio, I understand. I appreciate you for tapping in tonight, though, bro.
You already know, man. If I could come back in, once the session get done, man, I'll be back in with y'all, man. Twiz, salute you, my J. Mikey T, bro. Everybody in the comments, salute, man.
Twiz,
good seeing you, bro. Good seeing you.
Just stay on for 1 second while Twiz makes his announcement, Rosewood. Twiz, I know you got something you want to tell everybody. Let everybody know why you're in the hospital right now, man.
Yeah, man. Salute to the chat. Mikey T, I appreciate you, bro, man. Y'all know how we carry it. I've been here with the wife, man. She about to drop, man. You know what I mean? She going in labor right now. So, we carrying it like that today. But I still had to tune in to Report Card Radio La Familia. You already know.
Yo, it's interesting that you're tuning in, Twiz, because Meek Mill is going crazy on Twitter once again.
Oh, man. Meek famous for that.
Yep. So right now we're pretty much going over what Meek Mill said, man. You got to hear some of this shit. So it's really breaking down over this Roddy Ricch situation.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying that he said, so look, I made Atlantic Records hundreds of millions. And they still saying that I can't drop music until 9 months after my last album got blackballed. Just wrapped buildings. He said, Roddy is my youngin' still, but that label separated us instantly when the millions came in from him. Same thing they tried to do with me and Rose. It takes a long time to catch up, too, because most of them tied in for the love of some money. Artists are scared to speak up. They didn't put nothing into expensive pain and then said, I can't drop another project for 9 months at the end of my contract after I made the hundreds of millions. How would and can anybody survive that? Most rappers can't speak because they depend on these companies. I don't. If I didn't have millions, I'd probably do something crazy. They outsmarting young black kids, taking advantage and calling it business. Other artists speak up and tell the truth while you winning, not when you down. I had to think Roddy Ricch didn't come to me. He was on his grind. They brought him to me and cut me out as soon as the money came in. The label should have paid me, not Roddy. Then they fed him. I was trying to lock him in. They fed him like I was trying to lock him in. I was trying to help and eat, and I ain't getting $1 from the label. Twiz, what do you think about that, man? I just sort of read through all of Meek's tweets regarding this whole Roddy Ricch situation. Atlantic Records came to Meek Mill and they said, "Yo, we need your help with this artist, Roddy Ricch. We need to get him viral. We need to get him all over the place. We need you to jump." Meek jumped in videos with him, songs, and once the money came in, Meek's now saying they left him high and dry, like he didn't help with the project. Twiz.
Well, you know, one thing for sure, I appreciate all the love in the chat. Much respect, y'all. Um, First and foremost, man, we know appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the blessings, man. Much respect. Oh yeah, that's a lot of love right there. Appreciate y'all. When we when we talking about the music industry, when we talking about the music industry, that's how the game go. That's why when you doing things and you dealing with business, paperwork has to be put in place. You need to, you know, you have to secure what you feel as though your worth is. You know what I mean? It's no different than making somebody that was nobody a star. You have to make sure the paperwork is in play. And Meek being in the game for the time that he was in the game, somebody in his corner, if he wasn't knowledgeable enough, it should have been something put in place better that he should have secured the bag that he felt as though that he deserved. Appreciate it, big facts. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, man, that Meek wouldn't have that in position, though. You know, I would have thought
Yeah,
Meek's business, and also I would have thought Rick Ross and Meek had a better deal in place as well. So, you know, these
true.
hip hop artists, they get us believing in stuff based off of what we see on the internet or on television. You know what I mean? If Meek Mill was as influential with Roddy Ricch's career, I would have thought they had a deal in place. I kind of look
Facts.
at this like the game in 50 Cent. But what did 50 Cent have in place? He had a percentage of the game's albums.
Facts. If Meek, you know, was doing the business strategy properly, he'd be like, I can make this artist as big as you want him to. Let him sign with Dream Chasers and break down the percentages that these people get from off of whatever he get, and he get his percentage off of Roddy Ricch. You know what I mean? That would have made more sense. And Roddy Ricch would have added so much spunk being under Dream Chasers. It would have added to Meek brand, and you know, it would have been more of a partnership on Meek behalf.
It would have kind of been like almost as big as when Gucci Man signed Pooh Shiesty.
Facts.
Or
Facts.
in your opinion, can you really compare Pooh Shiesty and Roddy Ricch? Is Roddy Ricch on a bigger level?
No, you could compare him because how Roddy Ricch hit was just how Pooh Shiesty hit when he came out. Appreciate it, Iceberg. Appreciate it. I'm to the lad. Appreciate you, brother. Real rap, man. Sleepless night. You know what I'm saying? You already know. Waking
Royal
up
King
six,
said
7 times.
Royal King said he started counting his dollars. Do you think Meek was thinking they were going to call him in for a check if they didn't have any paperwork? I think something along the lines of there should have been a tour in place, a Meek Mill and Roddy Ricch tour. But then you also got to
Th-
look at the fact that we're just coming out of the pandemic, Twiz. There wasn't too much touring going on.
That's facts. And I think they probably gave Meek like a verbal contract, a verbal confirmation where it was just so we know you do this and we gonna take care of you. But verbal is nothing when you in that industry and you dealing with certified business. If the paperwork ain't in place, you know what I mean? It don't make no sense. So you can't really say nothing or be upset when things play out that way. It's no different than an artist featuring on a new artist that's lit. When you jump on there, y'all benefiting each other. So you need to understand, like you can't, you know what I mean? So for Roddy Ricch being who he was at the time when Meek was, you know, standing behind him, Meek should have understood his network and had paperwork in play for sure.
Right. Meek's cosign is major. You know what I mean? Meek's cosign
Facts.
is gonna pretty much make somebody a millionaire. It was gonna happen for Little Snoop. Rest in peace. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
It really was. But we have addressed the album Expensive Pain on the channel a few times. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? We've addressed it, man. You know, Meek said they didn't put nothing into Expensive Pain. And then they said, I can't drop another project for 9 months. Now, I sort of think like he needs a little bit of a grace period in between albums. But
True.
what do you make of that, man? Because we've talked about it. The sales for Expensive Pain were only around 80,000 first week.
True. And that also falls back again with paperwork. Why are they able to say this? You know what I mean? With you being under Jay-Z and having relationships with him, you shouldn't be in certain predicaments. That's just my understanding of it. I'm not sure if he was already tied in his situation before he even started chilling and having meetings with Jay-Z like that. But
Mm.
you know, that's how the game go, man, where a lot of things they look like, they shining and flossing, but they really, it's like they got chains on them and they can only do certain things at certain times. And it's unfortunate, man. That's why most of the time you can't be big headed when you is in the position to be an artist, because you flaunting and you talking about you doing this and you doing that. And then when things get dark, you come crying to the world. And I'm not just saying Meek in particular, but we see it a lot with artists, man. People that we thought was eating, you know what I mean? People that you would never think you would hear complaining about money. You know what I mean?
Royal King says he should push his own label or whatever, sign people. He should push his own label name or whatever and sign people on his own. But I mean, honestly, it's like, we looked at it like what happened to Little Snoop, and it's like, who is Meek going to have next? And now we hear
Well,
about this situation, Twiz. Like, this would have been major if he would have got Dream Chasers management popping with Roddy Ricch officially on paperwork.
that's true, and that's where like the that's where the controversy comes in at, because Meek, at the time when Meek had the torch, I'm talking about where everybody was riding around listening to Meek. I'm talking, appreciate you, James Brown. Before the criticism, before the stuff with him and Ack, when he was lit, he was jumping. He was in a position where everybody was coming to him for help, especially our city alone. The whole city, wanted parts of Meek. We always hear about the dream chasers, but how many of the dream chasers were put in positions as being big artists. So I think at the time when he was jumping, he kind of kept the limelight to himself too much. Like, if you peep how Jay-Z was jumping, career was bubbling, but during his career of bubbling, they picked up the state property, they picked up the Kanye's, and it never stopped. So on top of Jay-Z still being a great artist during this, it helps your team out. But it's not too late for him. I just feel like he definitely can get up out his situation as far as being jammed up. It's always bad contracts and things like that. So I think he learning off of his mistakes, and God's willing, he can step it up.
All right, so you think he'll still do it potentially in the future and get a label going? You don't think this is going to discourage him again?
No, I don't think it's going to discourage him because he got Jay-Z in his corner. I'm gonna just mute my mic. Excuse me for a second. The nurse gonna have to come in here. This drink beeping.
Okay. Twiz is having a little something go down. Twiz is in the hospital right now, going live with us on the podcast tonight. First time ever. I think Twiz has got Soulja Boy beat on a first time ever thing right now. First time ever podcasting live from the hospital. They're asking in the chat, Twiz, boy or girl, Twiz. And is this? Oh, we got it. Tap it down, everybody. We got to whisper. Look. Twiz will let us know when it's all good. Okay, I think we can talk. All right, I think we're good to talk, you guys. All right, we're Gucci. We are Gucci. But yeah, so the next part we're gonna get into here is the fact that Meek Mill has been facing some weird shit when it comes to releasing his projects. As far as like the last DC4 album, it made a bunch of money. It actually sold just about as much as the album that we were just talking about, Expensive Pain. So it's kind of weird that it's was looked at as a mixtape, and Meek had to address that. Meek said, also, I had to fight for my life to get DC4 counted as an album because they said I called it a mixtape. If y'all made 20 million off of it, what is it counted as? You know, that's an important factor right there with everything that's going on this day and age, Twiz, about the albums being called mixtapes or tapes and being called albums. It's like if the album is if the project is a success, they're going to call it an album. If it's a flop, they're just going to call it a tape, you know, sweep it under the rug. It was a tape. It didn't get as much promotion as it should have. You know what I'm saying? And in the grand scheme of things, I do think Atlantic Records was a little bit disappointed with the first week sales of Meek Mill's Expensive Pain album, but Meek is clearly pointing out here, Twiz, he moved he moved 20 million worth of sales with DC4. He's saying he moved like 20 million worth of sales with that. Now it had a first week start of like 80,000. So that's why I don't think they want to consider it, just like they don't want to consider Expensive Pain. And it's sort of like what we were talking about earlier with Young Buck having to turn in albums to 50 Cent. Every time Young Buck has turned in an album to 50 Cent, it's like 50 Cent says, nah, this isn't good enough. I'm going to pass on this album. And it's crazy how long these labels can actually keep the artists locked up in contracts based on denying their albums. Max B and Jim Jones went to court over that shit, Twiz, and because Max B had given Jim Jones, I guess, 300 songs for 10 albums that he owed him.
Damn,
It's like here. It's like here, take this shit, man. Take it, and we're done with the contract. But we were talking about this with Young Buck a little bit earlier. But before we get into that, where do you place Meek Mill's DC4 in connection with all of his other albums?
It's hard to place it. DC4, oh man, with all his other albums.
Does it fit into the mixtapes category, or would you say it's more along the lines of the Dreams and Nightmares, Dreams Worth More Than Money, Wins and Losses, Championships?
Dreams and Nightmares was like probably my favorite one. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't want to throw DC4 in the mixtape joint either though. Like, even though that joint, like, I know what you're talking about. I mean, it's hard for me to place that. I can't really place it like on a like give it a I can't put a number on it.
Should it have been called Dream Chasers 4, you think, or should it have just been an album called something else?
I mean, I was liking the DC stuff, period. The Dream Chaser, him pushing it, man. I feel like the Dream Chaser, it had like a strong meaning behind it. So I ain't really had no issues with the DC joints. Yeah, I mean, I feel like once he switched it from the Dream Chase, from the DC joints, it's like now he getting criticism. Like, look at his last joint, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It should have just been DC5, right?
Yeah, he could do it like Oskino. Oskino then dropped like 100 advertisers.
So, Twiz, I want to ask you about Young Buck, man, and 50 Cent. I got to ask you, man, Buck already owed 50 Cent money that he never paid him back, I guess, for the taxes. So 50 didn't get that money back, but then 50 Cent went on to reinvest in Young Buck again and sign him for a group album and a solo album. What do you make of that type of business that 50 was doing there? I mean, you don't really see somebody take a loss and then reinvest too frequently, do you?
No, I think he did it more so as them having closure with each other, and 50 like, I'm gonna give you another chance. That's where I feel as though that fell through. To I don't think 50 thought that he was probably going to benefit from it too much, because he's a chess player, so I think he understands it. He just probably gave him a proposition where it's like, you know what, we're going to try this run, give him a chance. We're going to try this run again and give him a chance, and then when the numbers not adding up, it's like now it kind of like put a stamp on why we can't continue to do business.
Right. Royal King says, "Damn, Young Buck was dope, but always had other people writing for him." I was not familiar with Young Buck having other people write for him.
Me neither. I never heard that.
I never heard that before. But so Young Buck has been arrested again, Twiz. The guy's actually he went to his ex-girlfriend's house and he vandalized her car, apparently, allegedly. What do you make of, like, this is on video? He's going to somebody's house and he's recorded on video doing this shit, Twiz. Like, how
Yeah,
he's got to be a little bit more intelligent than that. He's been with 50 Cent and a major conglomerate for half of his life, a third of his life.
facts, man. He out here moving like an angry baby mom, bro. A man shouldn't be doing nothing like that. Somebody in his position, you out here coming up to people's houses, slashing tires and doing all that type of stuff. It don't make no sense, bro. You're supposed to be in a different level of life. You know what I mean? It don't make no sense, bro.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, shit, he should know about recordings. 50 Cent had him on voice recording, whatever, 10 years ago, exposing him.
Yeah, he just seemed to have a snowball effect going on, bro, where it's like, he just add icing on the cake every time, bro.
So 50 Cent actually had to comment on this, man. Buck, Buck got booked. Buck got booked for this whole thing at 6:45 in the morning, Twiz. Booked at 6:45, and he was out by 10 a.m. in the morning. What do you make of this whole thing happening that early in the morning?
That dude was angry. He couldn't go to sleep that night before. He was trying to trying to figure out what he was going to do. You know what I mean? It's a good thing that's where he kept it at, because sometimes men or women, they get angry to the point where whatever is going on with their relationship, where he didn't bring harm to her or
Well,
nothing.
he should have just stayed home, Twiz. If that's the case, I mean,
True.
if anybody's feeling that type of angry, I'm going to use this as a little bit of a gem for myself. If I'm ever feeling this way, think what happened to Young Buck. Young Buck went to the crib. He started acting a fool. Don't go to your enemy's crib acting a fool. You're going to be
Facts.
recorded. You're more than likely going to be arrested. And then
Facts.
the people who don't like you are going to make posts about it on the internet, man. So
Facts.
50 had to jump on Young Buck, man. He said Buck, and Buck is no longer G Unit, Twiz. He's actually B Unit.
He's Z unit.
He's B Unit. Young Buck is repping for the B Unit now. But
That's crazy.
50 said, "Leave that girl alone. She didn't know he had all that shit going on. None of us did.
Yeah,
And he best be coming up with my money."
man. 50 be putting a nail on the coffin, bro. It's like, man, he'd catch somebody at their worst point in life and just finish crushing them, bro.
Yep.
It's just unfortunate, man. Like, I just don't know, bro. It's like, man, it's a bad, yo, bro. Like, Buck, man, salute. Yeah, Buck just need to. I don't think it's no coming back for Buck. Period, bro. He got so much stuff going on with himself. It's like, man,
So SV Twiz, he's the hood blogger. So I've got to ask him. This is like a question we asked Twiz. Twiz, would you do an interview with Young Buck?
yeah, I would do an interview with Young Buck. That joint would be one of them. It would be one of them deep joints though, where he'd be, it'd be like a therapy session, like you know what I mean? Like we'd be talking about, you know what I mean, bringing up everything. I would definitely interview, but
Yeah, so this is the one thing, Twiz. If you got to get out of here, man, I understand.
I'm just stepping in the other room because this drone be going off, so I know the nurse is about to step in here. I'm
This
just
is the
hopping in this
one
bathroom real quick.
Oh shit, Twiz is in the hospital bathroom right now, you
Yeah,
guys.
you know how we carry it. They got the little pregnancy ball and all that up in there. I mean,
We got 100 people on here live watching Twiz. Him and his wife, they are about to. They asked Twiz. They're asking in the chat, how many kids do you have?
oh yeah, I did see that earlier. This number 5 right here, y'all. This our 5th kid. Appreciate it. And it's a boy. We having a boy.
Yep, they asked if it was a boy or a girl. But yeah, this is the part that really got me is when 50 said she didn't know he had all that shit going on, and none of us did. Like, I was a supporter of Young Buck, Twiz. I was really kind of shocked when I heard Young Buck crying on the phone. And I was shocked when all the other allegations came up as well. But first and foremost, I was actually shocked when this man was crying on the phone and shit like that.
Yeah, that was crazy. I never seen nothing like that before. Starting 5, facts.
It's pretty much been over for him since then, Twiz.
Yeah, it has been over for him. It just, like I said, it's been a snowball effect since then, bro. Like, it don't make no sense. It's no coming back from him, bro. For him.
Well, I mean, 50 signs him. 50 signs him to the the deal to do the group album when Kid signed the G Unit. And maybe you could say that album released. Iceberg says, don't vape in the bathroom, Twiz. The smoke detector go off on the e-cigs and vapes now, too.
I ain't see no John in here, so.
Major salute, Sean Baglife tuning in, man. Busy Twizzy.
Salute, appreciate the love, y'all.
Well, yeah, Buck has talked about doing other things than just smoking weed, man. Buck needs to get a hold of himself, man.
Yeah, he the definition of the snowball effect, bro. I never saw no artist go through as much as what he went through, bro, and it's like consistent.
So what I was gonna say to is, it's like, all right, so maybe they had got the G Unit album done, but 50 signed him for an additional solo album. I'm thinking maybe 50 thought that they were gonna record something in the studio that stuck, and then he could do a solo album with Buck. But it just seems like every time Buck turns in an album, he just denies it. He's like, nah, this isn't good enough. Go back. No, this isn't. Sort of like with Buck's third album, like the Rehab that had come out after Buck the World. You thought that was going to be the album, but he was like, nah, not going to be the album. It's going to be a mixtape. Sort of like what Meek is going through with Expensive Pain and DC4.
True. And Meek is going through it, and Meek got little drama here and there, but it's not as half of what Buck, was going through. But what I never understood is why Buck made it like he needed 50 to continue to succeed. You know what I mean? I never really understood that.
Well, Buck did try to sign with Rick Ross.
True.
But that's like weak. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, you're gonna try to sign with Rick Ross. You've got so much musical talent, Young Buck. Why don't you go sign with Def Jam? Why don't you go sign with a real reputable label? You don't need to sign, and it's nothing against MMG. I don't know if you're an MMG guy, Twiz, but it's like you don't need to sign with your former guy's boss's enemy. Like, that's just kind of weak.
Yeah, that's true. That's like what J Hood tried to do, and you see how that played out for him.
Boom. Good point right there. But salute to J Hood. You know what I mean?
Definitely great artist.
I mean, shit, man. Twiz, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, Twiz? If I'm trying to see how I would relate this situation to you, you know what? Because you cannot take the D block or the D block G unit beef to where major figures and state property was. It really wasn't that much static for J Hood to be jumping on that stage like that, right?
No, it wasn't that type of static. It was misunderstanding and him expecting to have money that even the lots wasn't even getting. I
Him
just feel like
expecting to sign a deal.
exactly like him expecting to have more money when he was like the only artist that was really getting money from D Block. Nobody else from D Block was getting no money.
Well, you know, man, Tommy, no, he's not on he's on a weightlifting ball.
Yeah, I am on it, but I got it covered up. I ain't getting loose though, y'all. I'm just, you know what I'm saying, in the hospital. I had to step in because the nurses is walking in and out. So,
Twiz, how many hours do you imagine you're going to be at the hospital?
we probably, my wife probably not going to deliver the baby till around like, probably like around 1:30, 2 in the morning. So we having the boys, so getting them circumcised. We gonna be in here like 3 days. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, shit.
We probably don't get out till Saturday evening or Sunday morning.
And when did you get in there?
My wife actually had a doctor's appointment earlier today. She went to go see the OBGYN. This was around 11 o'clock. And the doctor had checked her like, oh yeah, you 4 centimeters, you need to check in. Like, so had to take her to the hospital and they kept her in. So she been here since probably like 12, around
Wow,
like
so
12:30ish.
you've been there for literally at this point a half a day.
Facts. I had to wait for my meds to come in and cover the kids. And I got over here ASAP. She been in here since like 12:30. I got here like around 3 o'clock. Yeah, I mean.
This is great, man. I hope this goes viral.
Hey man, y'all act like y'all never sat on the toilet before.
This shit is classic. Baltimore in the house. What's popping?
Baltimore. Salute.
I mean, but yo, Twiz, like, I don't even think Buck would have enough money to take 50 to court in order to get released from his contract. That bullshit contract. Buck, because I mean, you got to imagine if Buck had money to take him to court, they could argue that he's turned in 3 or 4 albums that 50 Cent has denied. Like, and I feel like he would win on those grounds.
Facts. 50 is covered business wise. He ain't in no situation where nobody that was under him can sue him.
Yeah, like and
It's
Buck was probably when Buck got I'm surprised that Buck couldn't go and secure another record deal. He had to go back to G Unit.
I know that's what I was talking about. Like it's crazy. Like it's like when everything was going on, it's like Buck, like this the only way I can survive, bro. Like if you listen to even the phone calls, like he begging 50 for like another chance, bro. Like and he was a great artist, bro. That's what make it even crazier, bro. Like he added so much funk to the unit.
Did he think that nobody else was going to give him some bread or something? Like he must have a
That's what
really
I'm
low
saying.
self-esteem or something, Twiz.
His business, yeah, I mean, it's just the business part of things, bro. You know what I mean?
We're talking
And that
about a
comes
man, Twiz, you got to take into consideration. We're talking about a man who didn't know what taxes were.
exactly. That's what I'm talking about. And sometimes, a lot of time, these artists they think that's the only way. That rap money is it's supposed to put you in a position to invest in the other things, and unfortunately, it's a lot of rappers that don't. They think that money gonna last forever. That tour money, all of that. They think it ain't no stopping that.
Yeah, that's funny because I don't know if you know anything about this really, but I was watching Offset. He was on that dripped out show where all the rappers go to buy jewelry.
I
So
know what you're talking about.
and the guy had told Offset, you bought the Rolex watches or whatever watches at the right time. And because now in the last few years, I guess watches have become more valuable or something like that.
That's crazy.
I mean, I do imagine that watches have become more valuable. They're the thing now. People wear a watch on each wrist. You know what I mean? But you guys, we appreciate everybody for tapping in tonight. Twiz, if you got to get out of here, that's dope. But I'm going to take some open questions. If you want to stick around for open questions, that's cool, Twiz.
Okay, I'll stick around for a few open questions before I tap out.
All right, cool. If everybody in here, y'all could send some open questions in. So Twiz, you guys are in the hospital for 12 hours now. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like watching television and easy shit like that, is it?
They got like 6 channels on the TV, so you know what I mean. I'll just be through my phone. Besides making sure my wife is good, you know, the nurses be in and out and keeping us updated on what's going on, like checking the baby heartbeat and everything.
Oh.
And they just broke my wife's water pipe like an hour and a half ago. So
well, you're right. Waiting. I guess everything is pretty much on the phone now. Why didn't Memphis pick up Buck? Your opinion. What does he mean by Memphis picking up Buck?
I'm not sure. We talking about that time frame. You ain't talking about Bleak, is you?
Yeah, Nina, what do you mean by Memphis picking up Buck? Like be particular when you're talking. Are you talking about one of the labels in Memphis, or are you actually talking about Memphis Bleak and Jay-Z?
Because we gotta remember that
3-6 Mafia.
Oh, okay.
Well, in regard to 3-6 Mafia not picking up Young Buck, I'd have to say that it's because they never really had their label fully situated. Well, I guess I'm wrong. They had Hypnotized Minds.
True.
Twiz, why do you think he never went over to Hypnotized Minds?
Who knows? I mean, maybe they didn't want him. Maybe he felt as though he just wanted to be with G Unit forever. I felt this, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's like the game had did a post not too long ago or made a statement where he said, I wish me and 50 could have, you know, kept things rolling because we could have been great. You spoke on it probably like last month, something like that. And sometimes people can visualize themselves with a certain group or certain people and be like, I feel like that was the best move for us. Like, you know, Buck probably felt great about that.
Well, you know, Buck is actually doing an album with DJ Paul now, so that's a step in the right direction. Do you think there's going to be any reaching out to 50 Cent for that album, man? Do you think this album's going to be on 50's radar? He wants his money, Twiz, and I think a 3-6 Mafia collaboration might be on Big Fifth's radar, bro.
Yeah, 50 ain't gonna do nothing but troll him. Like I need my percentage. Where my cut at?
But what about Yo Gotti? Nina's saying like, why didn't Memphis put him on? Why didn't Yo Gotti come and pick up Buck when he's down?
I don't think Gotti would have did it because he had too much things going around his name and the reputation that Gotti got. You know, he might not have wanted that type of energy. Like he's supporting the kind of things that Buck had going on. That's just my opinion. Because once things fell off with him and 50, it's like 50 was hitting them with haymakers and doing things like releasing the phone calls and things of that nature when people wasn't doing them type of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all because he wanted to stay on a tour in the South. You know what I mean? It's like you was touring around Philly, Jersey, Connecticut, because he's from the South, Twiz. So that's why I'm saying that's like saying you're from, you're from Philly. So that's like saying you're touring Delaware, Maryland, DC, Connecticut, Boston, and 50 Cent calls you up and he's like, yo, Twiz, I need you to come to Asia with me. We're going to China, Korea, Vietnam, Taiwan. You know what I mean? We're going to all these
Facts.
countries in Asia. That's like you saying, nah, man, I've got to get this money here in the tri-state. It's like, what the hell are
Facts.
you doing, bro? You'll be back there in 2 months.
Facts. That's a fact.
Yeah, man. Oh man, fuck that later right there. But I thought that would be a good
Yeah.
fit though. CMG with
It
Young Buck, that would have been cool. But honestly, I don't think Young Buck showed Yo Gotti love when when Yo Gotti wasn't popular.
That's true too.
You
That's
know?
true. You hit it on the nose right there. A lot of times artists, when they was lit, they was stunting on people that wasn't at that time.
I see here in 2009, Young Buck had a song called "Tie the Bag Tight" with All Star and Yo Gotti. 2009. Young Buck was well past his prime in 2009. Young Buck,
Yeah.
he could have worked with Yo Gotti in 2008 or 2007 would have really been the year that the last year that
Yeah,
Yo Buck
07.
was up in 2007.
Yeah, 07 would have worked.
He's from Tennessee. But yeah, man. But yeah, Twiz, let me see. I'm gonna throw your IG up, man, one more time. You can give everybody your plugs, bro. I appreciate you for tapping in
Definitely.
tonight, Twiz.
I appreciate you for having me, man. You know what I'm saying? You know how we carry it. It's SV
Major
Twiz, man.
Major congratulations to you, Twiz.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, man. You know what I mean? You know how we carry it. Report Card Radio, live familiar, man. This SV Twiz. Make sure y'all stay posted. My brother Mikey T, the movie star. Keep his ear to the streets. Keep that content fire, bro. So make sure y'all sub. Y'all hit all notifications. Appreciate you, Nina Supreme. Appreciate you.
Twiz, take care of the wifey. Get home safe to the family when you guys do eventually leave there. Hold it down in the hospital,
Absolutely.
as I know you will, bro.
Absolutely. I'm waiting for my wife to, push the baby out. I'm gonna go get some grub and all that. She can't eat till after the baby comes, so she got all
You're gonna
types of
get some
cravings and
grub.
stuff.
How
Yeah,
are
get
you
some
gonna
grub.
get grub there? How does that work, man?
Well, stuff be closed. Stuff won't be closed where we at now.
You
Only
can
joint
Uber
probably be
Eats,
open.
right?
Yeah, but a lot of stuff closed out here where we at right now. So
So there's a
yeah, I
cafeteria
mean,
in there?
they got a cafeteria, but it be certain hours. So I probably either slide the Wawa or they got like the vending machines downstairs. They got joints where you can heat the food up and all of that. So
Oh yeah,
it'd
Wawa
be
is Gucci, man. Wawa is Gucci.
yeah.
Hell yeah. They still be
So
making
I might be
sandwiches at Wawa at 2 o'clock in the morning?
oh yeah, I'm gonna do a 2:33 in the morning visit. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that's
They
awesome,
hoagies,
man.
all that, quesadillas.
That
You know
is
what I mean?
awesome.
You know
You
how we
got us
carry
beat on that level. We don't got nothing like that in
it.
Connecticut. I'm done until tomorrow. I had
Damn,
to
yeah,
go
they
get a
24
bullshit ass
hours.
I had to go get a bullshit ass dinner just to do the live tonight. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I got to go get
Damn,
something quick and make it back.
damn, yeah, Wawa be rolling all night. And that's probably the only thing I can see that we'd be able to get tonight
Hell yeah, you're
for
lucky,
those
man.
hours.
You are lucky in more ways than just going to Wawa, my brother.
Appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you.
But yes, I will talk to you soon, man.
All right, Mikey.
And we
Much
will see
love and
you on the
respect.
stream soon.
Salute to the chat. You know how we carry it. Report Card Radio, live familiar.
Appreciate you, brother. Major salute to Twiz. That's my bro right there. Congratulations to Twiz and his wife, man. Oh man, Twiz and his family. They, you know what I mean. He be talking to us about his family here on the channel, giving us a little bit of insight. His channel was called Life with the Philly Fam. He really gives a lot of insight, inside of what's going on in real life, more so than just in the hip hop game. You know what I mean? It's something that he does really well. and I know he's in for it for the next few days, apparently, from what he said, but it's something that he's done before. So, Scam Reno, congratulations to Twiz. Hell yeah. Major congratulations. He had actually got on the phone with me earlier. I think he called me back earlier and he told me what was going on. And I was like, what? I was like, what? Because I didn't realize it was, you know, he had told me a few months back, obviously, that he was having another child. His girl was having another child and shit. But major congratulations to him. First time ever, right there. Podcast from the hospital. How about that, you guys? I want to let everybody know that Slapface is available right now. All you have to do is hit the link pinned, and you can get a free 7-day trial to Shudder, and you can watch Slapface. I got a cameo in there. Pretty proud of this movie. My brother Jeremiah Kipps set it off with his first major directorial debut. He's had other films, obviously. He's actually on his 7th feature film, but this is really his baby right here. It's called Slapface. It's got a number of dope actors in it. Dan Hedaya, Mike Manning, Lucas Hassel plays the monster, the Virago Witch, as they call the witch. August Maturo from the Boy Meets World spinoff, Girl Meets World. He's also in The Nun. Very proud of this movie, and I've also got a spot in it. I was going to be in the second scene of the film, but I'm actually in a bigger scene. My brother put me in a bigger scene. I had a dope ass haircut in the movie, so y'all can go check that shit out, man. Right now, it's available. Scam Reno says that was off the Yo Gotti and All Star mixtape. Oh, okay, so that makes a little bit more sense. Yo Gotti actually working with Buck at that point of his career. That makes a lot more sense to me. Like I said, though, it would have been a little bit more relevant if Yo Gotti was able to work with Young Buck. If he was able to work with Young Buck actually when you know what I mean, when Buck was actually popping, you know what I'm saying? Major salute to Bel Air Rose. You know, my favorite Bel Air Rose is that Burr blue. You know what I'm saying? The Gucci Man edition, Eskimo type shit. You know what I'm saying? The shit is chilled. It's actually blue, if you're wondering. We need that Bel Air Rose endorsement, man. I'll put them all over the room and shit. I'll make this the official Bel Air room at my crib. We'll make it all Bel Air blue throughout this whole room. Just give me a call, Bel Air, man. We'll get that endorsement right. James Brown, what is up, man? Appreciate you for tapping in tonight. Major salute to you. I'm on that Granddaddy Pluto tonight, baby. What are you smoking? I didn't get to ask that earlier. What's everyone smoking? I didn't really get to ask it, so I'm going to ask it right now. If everybody wants to log out and go watch the Slapface movie on Shudder, though, that's cool. It's pinned up there for y'all to go watch it, man. We need to get the buzz up on Shudder, and I bet you it gets picked up by Netflix, which would be amazing. I got a feeling that Slapface is really, really going to catch on. My brother Jeremiah Kipp filmed this movie with some of the best cameras. He actually has a partner, a really cool ass dude. It's my guy right there. He's family. Dominic Sylvie. That's right. I hope I'm saying that right. I hope I'm not butchering his name. He actually does a lot of the filming with my brother. They're a dynamic duo. And man, they got Slapface out there to the world, and they got it on Shudder. So now they're I want to say achievements, but it's more than that, because this movie is going to lead to the future achievements, y'all. You know, this movie is where they're it's like they're real, for everybody that in the world to see. Now Slapface is available on a platform for the whole world. It's an amazing thing, going from just recording your own movies, you know what I mean, recording your own movies in your backyard with a camera on VHS tapes, to then, going to school, directing plays, working for one of the biggest film production companies, doing your own short films, to now having your own directorial debut actually on one of the biggest platforms known for the genre that I think my brother is really going to thrive in, horror, but also more than that, because Slapface is really being looked at in quite a terrific way. People are looking at it for a lot more than just the horror aspects, which is cool. I could only imagine what my brother Jeremiah Kipp does next. So, remember that name, Jeremiah Kipp. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does next. What did I ask? I asked him I asked him the other day what if he would have done this movie if he was offered it. It was a really, really cool. Anyway, that's another story, man. What's everybody smoking? You dig? I am smoking on, and I'm not going to smoke any more of this tonight. I'm going to smoke something else, so I'm going to put the cap back on it. This is what I'm smoking on, you guys. So I want to know what you're all smoking on. I got that Granddaddy Pluto, 21%. This shit is gas. I'm going to put it up for the night, probably smoke on some Collins or some cake mix. And I'm going to watch Slapface tonight on Shudder. If there was a request, it would have been Widow, you dig? I'm on that Granddaddy Pluto tonight. I stuffed that joint. Sorry, guys, I'm lit right now. Okay, we is out of the organics. Never heard of that. Let me look it up. Wow, those look fire, man. It's a hybrid, huh? Those eat those cookies look amazing. But yeah, y'all, I want everybody on here to follow me on the gram. If you guys aren't following me already, I want y'all to follow me right now. Everybody that follows me, I will follow back. As soon as y'all follow me, I'll follow you back on the gram. I appreciate everybody that has tapped in tonight, man. It was an epic podcast, man. I'm taking the last of the last questions, though. If y'all have anything, if it pertains to our topics, you can either rewind the video if you want, or you could just ask me a question pertaining to the topic if I didn't cover something that you might know about, or if you just have a question actually about anything in general, this is the time to ask it. That's what we do at the conclusion of the show. We got the intro, we got the show, we got the outro. Right now, we're officially on the outro. I appreciate all of our guests that tuned in. My co-host, Rosewood in the studio right now, doing his thing. SV Twiz, actually in the hospital with his wife. So a very interesting episode, man. We had one of my co-hosts in the studio, another one in the hospital, man. My guys are just doing their thing, man. And I appreciate everybody that is tuned in tonight, man. Like I said, y'all make this place the best hip hop channel. My audience is the best audience. Now, if you haven't, hit the notification bell, you guys. Hit that notification bell so you can tune in anytime that I drop a video. I am extremely appreciative to everybody that tuned in tonight. Again, follow me on Instagram. I will follow you back immediately. Log on to shudder.com right now to watch Slapface, the movie. It is free as long as you get a 7-day trial. So it's free to watch. And then it's only like $4.75 a month. So it's actually a really good deal. I appreciate everybody tapping in tonight, though, man. Like I said, y'all are the realest audience, man. I'll see you tomorrow.